I'm just not meant for a simple, normal life. If you want that for yourself, love it, you go, girl. But if you're not on that page and you're like, what do you mean you want the big, successful life? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling too. You're in the right place. I work with ambitious women who want a big, successful life, but I know that for most people, it's like, how do I know this is for me? Obviously, most people have dreams. I'm not saying everybody because apparently that's not true, but most people have a desire for something else, something different, something more than the reality that they're living in right now. And that's fine. I love desire. I love not being satisfied with what you have because I do believe, yes, you should be grateful. That's cool. But at the same time, let's keep thriving. Let's keep achieving more. Let's use the time we have on this planet as productive and useful and magical as we can. For me, it has never made sense to settle at the age of 30, find a house, find a husband, have a kid, have a job I hate, and then settle for this little money that affords a vacation a year, maybe two if I'm lucky, and then just wait till my time runs out. Now, this sounds harsh, but eventually that's the truth for most people. I'm not okay with that. I have never fitted in, and there are signs. So if you're like, how do I know? Like, I kind of have an idea where I feel like I could be made for something different, but how do I know for sure? I'm going to show you today. The first sign for me that was super obvious and as silly and simple as it sounds, it's true. I just couldn't settle. I just couldn't settle for average. Believe me, I tried. The thought of me finding a guy, settling down in my home country, in an apartment, in a house, doesn't matter, was a nightmare. It was a legit nightmare. It gives me the ick. When I still think about it, before I met my now partner and before I started this business, I actually was this close to settling down with somebody else in the city in a way where I would just have a normal job as a psychologist or something like that. And honestly, thank God this didn't happen. I know this is an amazing life. I know this is what a lot of people out there want. And it is even more than most people maybe can have. And I respect that. But that's not my soul's journey. For me, that was a nightmare. I couldn't stand that thought and that reality. And I felt guilty. Today, I am confident. I love it. I love that this doesn't work out for me. But back then, God, you believe I felt guilty. I felt like I was a bad person. I felt so unloyal. I felt all these things because I look at my friends, I looked at my peers, I looked at the people I trusted and that surrounded me for so long, and they were all kind of on that journey of settling and finding their place in the world. And I was just out there. And I was just, where do I belong? Where do I fit in? Because it ain't this. And I didn't really know about like other communities or people who were so openly about personal development and business and spirituality on all these things. Today, that's my absolute reality. It's the bare freaking minimum. Like, if you're not in this reality, we're not gonna be friends. That's fine too if you're not. But I'm just saying, like, for me, the world that I grew up in, the reality that was sold to me as normal, never freaking felt normal. I remember I was 14 years old. 14. And I had this vision of me standing on a big stage. And I think I was 16 when I said to my classmates, who I wasn't friends with, I'm gonna be like the female Tony Robbins or something like that. Obviously, we are in the process of creating that, and it's a journey, guys. It's not about, oh, you didn't hit that goal yet, you're never gonna make it, or you didn't make it. I have more than I ever thought was possible. I was 14 years old, I was a fucking kid, and I had dreams and visions and statements so bold. Sometimes I'm like, maybe you should have just kept your mouth shut for a second. But just to say, like, I always had visions, and this brings me to the second sign because it makes absolutely no sense. I can't even explain what visions mean. It's always been this way since I was a baby. I remember having visions of certain parts of my life that eventually just happened. Somewhere down the line, years from that moment, wide into the future, like the same happened with my partner. When I first met him, in the first 20 minutes, I got this vision or download or whatever you want to call it, and I just saw the journey. I didn't see every step of the way. I saw the result, and I saw us being together. I saw us starting a family. I saw us getting married, all these things, and that is eventually what we're now planning to do. We are creating the life that we dream of so we can eventually hit those goals. Now, everything has a timeline. Everything, in my opinion, comes when you are ready. God's timing is not a specific time on earth, it's just the time of your evolution. Where you're at, when you're at this point, how you find yourself at this point, all these things. But if you have this vision, desire, fire, whatever inside of you that just keeps you going, you can't settle. You can't live this simple, normal life. It's just not possible. And for me, why I always had these big visions and dreams, I believe, is because I am committed to doing this for the rest of my days. I'm gonna stop growing and hitting goals and creating whatever when I die. There is no part of me that thinks about stop working or not working anymore, even though I want like the wealth and all these things. I'm not even thinking about, oh my God, I'm going to become so wealthy and not work again. Like, I love working. I love what I do. I genuinely want to do it, and I want to continue to evolve my purpose and my career and my business and what that looks like. But I really, really believe that when you have visions of a bigger life that make no sense, that are absolutely unrealistic, that other people would think you're batshit crazy for, that you don't even believe in, because I never believed any of these things could actually happen. And I didn't even believe I could be an entrepreneur by the age of 27. And I have been doing this for the past 2 to 3 years. So everything is just so unreal until it isn't. Everything is super unrealistic until it's your actual reality. That's what we're working towards. And now the third sign that I knew I was meant for more, and will tell you that you are too, is I was super smart in life. I could read humans. I could see behind the masks. I could read between the lines. I could do all that shit, but I sucked in systems. I sucked in structures. School, horrible. Normal jobs, didn't work. Now, funny enough, I learned a way to like fit in. So I eventually graduated university. I actually got a master's degree in psychology. I did all that stuff, but not because I loved it or because I enjoyed it, but because I felt like it was necessary to prove a point. I wanted this career, and I just felt like I gotta owe this to myself to prove that I can get this. That was it. Today, honestly, I don't even use that degree, but that's another story for another time. I feel like I was always meant to like not follow the rules because I was meant to lead. And so are you. If you struggle with like simple guidelines at your job, and I remember I was working as a substitute teacher, which a lot of people in my country do after like high school and graduation and blah, blah, blah. And it just wouldn't work for me. Like, it made no sense. Just me standing in that room, teaching in the way I was taught to teach, and doing what was like given to me to teach these children, everything about it felt off. Everything. And I love teaching. I love working with humans. I love like educating humans and helping them create a better life, become better humans, all these things. But in that structure, and in structures specifically that are very like normal in society, I just get aches. Like, it just doesn't work. There's everything in my body that's just rejecting that entire system. And I don't believe in me, at least, revolutionizing the system or changing it. It's just not part of my soul's journey. I know there are people who are in the process of working on that, trying to find solutions and trying to optimize the systems. I love that. I have clients who do that. I have so much respect and admiration for that. For me, it was just another path. I also believe that we gotta stop believing that it's our responsibility to save the world. Like, every soul has a specific mission. Find your thing. Just because your dad was doing this job doesn't mean you need to. Just because your sister is going in that direction, or your best friend, that you should too. Like, everybody is so different. There are industries, niches, very specific things that are designed for specific souls. That's just it. And I feel like in school, we were always taught about like the obvious job choices. You could become a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer, and amazing jobs, obviously. But I always felt like, what about everything else? What about all the jobs in this world that don't fit into that category, that are not like seen as amazing by society? Because let's be real, as an entrepreneur, you're the fucking weirdo. Nobody knows how you're really making money. Nobody knows what the fuck you're doing the entire day. Everybody thinks you're so privileged and you can do whatever you want. Everybody believes that you can just take off and be on holiday 24/7 and not give a fuck. Like, that's so far from the truth, but let them believe whatever. I feel like if you have the balls to go after your dream life and go for what you really want inside, you are gonna be looked at differently. People are gonna think you're weird and crazy and give you names and talk shit about your back. But who cares? Like, seriously. Because their life is just worst case scenario for me. If it doesn't work out, you're gonna live their life regardless. So you can just win. You get what I'm saying? So if you feel like, yes, this was just confirmation for me, I am meant for more, I have this vision, I have this thing that I'm really, really good at, couldn't explain why or how or what I'm gonna do with it, but I feel like I need to explore that a bit more, please do. I said to my partner literally yesterday, I remember having a conversation back at school. I was probably 15, 16, maybe 17. And everybody was like, oh my God, I knew since I was like 6 that I'm gonna become like a doctor, and I know I will. And honestly, these people are doctors today. Like, you know, these types of people that just always knew. They were like 5 and their dad had been doing the same job, their granddad, like it's a generational family thing. And they were 5 and they knew and they really did go and do that. I respect that and love that. But that wasn't me. I had no clue. I was like, okay, looking at my talents and gifts, I always said like I'm really, really good at talking and talking a lot and talking a lot of BS. That was my thing. But I never thought about a career. Then I also remember one day I was like, oh my God, I love like this thing. I remember what like the exact name, but it was basically like the human brain, but on a neuro level, biological level, but it had a specific name. I don't remember. Either way, you get what I'm saying. So I was like, oh my God, I love that, but I just sucked at biology and stuff like that. I just sucked at it. And so I was like, I would love, here it comes, to study the human brain, but on a human level. Obviously, a bitch never heard the word psychology before. I was super young, I had no clue. But eventually what happened, I did say these things so randomly, didn't really think about them, kind of forgot about them, and now I'm literally building and having a career based on me speaking and me having studied and continuing to study the human brain, how humans function, what makes us tick, all these things, right? So that's kind of interesting. Never underestimate your power, your gifts, your natural talents just because they don't fit into a category. Me speaking was a big problem for my teachers, and it's the greatest thing for my business. So there's always two sides to a coin. Let me know in the comments where you're at, if you have this vision, if you have an idea, if you have natural talents, if you feel like, yes, I'm meant for more and you're ready to go for it, or if you're like, I know I am, I just don't know how to make that happen. I get it. If you want more support and you want more support from me, I got this amazing free workbook called Inner Work to Successful Results. And it's literally designed to help you use your personal development and all the inner work you've been doing for the past years, because I know a lot of you have been working on yourself for a very long time, and actually turn them into some tangible, real life, successful results. And this guideline will help you go through that process. So if you want that, just let me know. I'm gonna pin the link just down below. You can download it there. And I can't wait to hear some feedback. Let me know how it resonates. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.